Most gardeners think worms just appear when soil is healthy. That's one of the biggest misunderstandings in gardening. Worms don't randomly show up in large numbers unless the soil environment suddenly becomes rich, moist, and biologically active. When they don't show up, most people assume nothing is wrong. But in reality, it usually means the soil is too dry, too compacted, or lacking microbial food. And that's exactly why so many gardens stay stuck in low productivity without anyone noticing the real problem underground. I tested this in a raised bed that had been underperforming for 2 seasons. Plants were surviving, but growth was slow, and soil always felt tight and lifeless. Before doing anything extreme, I started checking conditions more precisely using the YAMRON 4-in-1 soil moisture meter. It helps you track moisture, pH, temperature, and sunlight levels so you understand what your soil is actually doing instead of guessing. I'll leave the exact one I use in the description if you want to check it out. Because in most cases, worm activity, or lack of it, is directly tied to invisible soil conditions people ignore. Now here's the part most gardeners miss. Worms don't arrive because of magic compost or random organic matter. They respond to signals. When soil has consistent moisture, soft structure, and active microbial food, worms move in quickly because it becomes a stable feeding environment. But when soil is dry on top and compact underneath, they avoid it completely, even if nutrients are present. So when I say worms took over in 24 hours, I'm not talking about random luck. I'm talking about creating the exact conditions that trigger biological migration. Let me explain what actually changed in the soil. The first thing I adjusted was moisture consistency. Most gardeners either overwater or let soil dry too far between cycles. Worms hate both extremes. They need damp but breathable soil. In practical terms, that means moisture reaching about 10 to 15 centimeters deep without waterlogging the surface. The second change was organic feeding at the surface level. Not digging it in aggressively, but layering small amounts of decomposing material like vegetable scraps, crushed leaves, and partially broken compost on top of the bed. This creates a food gradient that pulls worms upward naturally. Within 24 hours of doing this correctly, I started noticing movement patterns I had not seen in that bed before. Not just worms on the surface, but soil loosening underneath, which is actually more important than visible activity. This is where most advice online becomes misleading. People think you need expensive worm farms or special species to improve soil. That's not true. Most gardens already contain worm eggs or dormant populations. The problem is activation, not introduction. Worms respond to environment, not marketing products. And here's where things get even more interesting. When worms start moving through soil, they don't just eat waste. They physically restructure soil channels. That improves oxygen flow, water infiltration, and root expansion all at the same time. In my raised bed, I noticed water absorption improved within days after worm activity increased. Previously, water would sit on top for too long. Afterward, it moved through evenly without pooling. That change alone can transform plant performance. But there's a catch most gardeners never consider. If your soil is too dry, worms will disappear quickly. If it's too wet, they suffocate. If it lacks organic food, they migrate away. So worm activity is not something you add, it's something you maintain through consistent conditions. This is why tracking soil conditions matters more than most people realize. Using a tool like the YAMRON meter helps you catch imbalances early. For example, I've seen beds where moisture looked fine on top, but deeper layers were completely dry. That kind of hidden imbalance silently pushes worms away without any visible warning. I'll leave the exact meter I use in the description if you want to check it out, because once you start monitoring properly, you stop guessing and start controlling soil behavior. Now let's talk about what happens after worms take over. The soil becomes darker, looser, and more stable. You start seeing better root penetration, especially in crops like tomatoes, peppers, and leafy greens. Even watering cycles become more efficient because worm channels help distribute moisture evenly. In one of my container experiments, I introduced the same surface feeding method into a heavily compacted mix. Within a week, root development improved significantly, even without changing fertilizer inputs. That tells you everything you need to know: biology is more powerful than additives. And here's something I'll be honest about. Most gardeners focus too much on fertilizers and not enough on soil movement. But plants don't grow in fertilizer. They grow in soil systems that allow nutrients, air, and water to interact properly. Worms are one of the fastest ways to activate that system naturally. Once you understand that, gardening stops being about constant correction and starts becoming about maintaining balance. You begin to see soil as a living environment that reacts to what you feed it, how you water it, and how stable you keep its conditions. And that's why the worms took over in 24 hours effect is not a trick. It's simply what happens when soil biology is finally given the right conditions to wake up. If you found this useful, subscribe to FarmLogic because most gardening advice skips the underground biology that actually controls plant performance. The more you understand soil life, moisture balance, and microbial activity, the easier it becomes to grow strong, productive gardens without unnecessary inputs. And once worms start working with you instead of against you, everything in your garden changes from the root level up.